Imagine you're driving on a long stretch of highway in Texas. Endless trucks surround you, carrying food, clothes, electronics, and even medicine. Now, imagine half of those trucks driving themselves. No human inside, just sensors, cameras, and artificial intelligence guiding them across the country. This is not science fiction. According to a 2023 report by the American Trucking Association's ATA, the U.S. already faces a shortage of over 80,000 truck drivers, and that number could rise to 160,000 by 2030. Companies see self-driving trucks as the solution, and they're moving fast. In fact, Aurora, a California-based autonomous trucking startup, has partnered with FedEx and Uber Freight to test self-driving routes in Texas. Their trucks, packed with radar, LiDAR, and high-definition cameras, already travel hundreds of miles with minimal human input. By 2024, Aurora plans to launch fully driverless operations on select-use highways. This push isn't only about convenience, it's about economics. According to a McKinsey & Company study, autonomous trucking could reduce shipping costs by 30% to 45%, primarily by removing the need for drivers, rest breaks, and human error. Think about that, delivering goods across America faster, cheaper, and safer, all while operating 24/7. But Aurora isn't alone. Too Simple, another US-based startup, completed a fully driverless test run in Arizona in 2021, where a self-driving truck navigated 80 miles without a human on board. The test made headlines worldwide, proving that autonomous trucks aren't just prototypes, they're operational today. Too Simple claims its system can detect obstacles over 1,000 meters ahead, reacting faster than human drivers ever could. Even traditional players are stepping in. Daimler Trucks North America has invested heavily in autonomous systems, while Waymo Via, a division of Alphabet, Google's parent company, is testing driverless freight in California and Texas. According to a 2022 report by NACFE, North American Council for Freight Efficiency, long-haul trucking routes that often exceed 200 miles is the most likely sector to adopt autonomy first, since highways are simpler than crowded city streets. But here's the human side of the story. Truck driving is one of the most common jobs in America, employing nearly 3.5 million drivers. Replacing even a fraction of them could trigger massive debates about jobs, unions, and the future of work. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has warned that automation may reshape but completely erase trucking jobs. While long-haul driving might decline, new roles will appear: remote operators, fleet managers, AI system engineers, and drone-style dispatchers. Safety is another major driver. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, reports that over 90% of road accidents are caused by human error. Fatigue, distraction, and drunk driving cost thousands of lives each year. Autonomous trucks with AI systems that never tire or lose focus promise fewer crashes and safer highways. A Rand Corporation study even suggested that widespread adoption of self-driving trucks could save tens of thousands of lives annually in the US. Let's pause and picture a real-world scenario. A refrigerated truck carrying vaccines from Los Angeles to Dallas. Normally, this trip would take about 24 hours, with mandatory driver rest breaks stretching the journey. An autonomous truck? It drives continuously, cutting delivery time almost in half. In healthcare logistics, that time difference could save lives. And what about the environment? Traditional trucks consume billions of gallons of diesel annually, releasing harmful emissions. Autonomous trucks, when paired with electric or hybrid systems, could optimize routes, avoid idling, and reduce fuel use by up to 20%, according to the U.S. Department of Energy. With climate change policies pushing cleaner transportation, autonomous freight becomes not just an innovation, but a necessity. The contrast is striking. Think of highways today. Congested, risky, and dependent on human labor. Now picture highways in 2035. Lanes optimized for autonomous convoys, AI managing traffic flow, and goods delivered faster than ever before. It's a shift as big as the introduction of railroads or the interstate highway system. Yet, with all this excitement, questions remain. Who will be responsible when a driverless truck crashes? How will the insurance industry adapt? Will rural towns lose jobs or gain new tech opportunities? These aren't minor details. They are at the heart of America's debate on the future of work, safety, and ethics. Autonomous trucking isn't just about machines. It's about reshaping an entire ecosystem: transportation, economy, environment, and labor. And as the U.S. experiments highway by highway, one thing is clear: the age of human-only trucking is ending, and a new chapter has already begun. Every revolution comes with resistance, and the rise of autonomous trucks is no different. While technology races ahead, the U.S. faces regulatory, ethical, and social questions that will define how fast or how slow this future arrives. Let's start with regulation. In America, highways are governed by both federal and state laws, making the rollout of driverless trucks extremely complex. For example, states like Texas and Arizona have welcomed autonomous vehicle testing with open arms, passing laws that allow self-driving trucks on highways. But states like California, despite being home to Silicon Valley, have stricter rules that limit large-scale testing. According to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA, there is no single nationwide framework yet for autonomous trucking. That means progress is patchy. Some highways may soon see convoys of driverless trucks, while others remain strictly human-driven. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, had to create new rules for drones before they could take off commercially. Similarly, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, and Congress will need to define clear standards for autonomous trucks, covering everything from crash liability to software updates. Until then, companies operate in a gray zone, relying on waivers and pilot programs. Now let's talk about safety and liability. Imagine a driverless 18-wheeler on an icy road in Colorado. If it crashes, who is responsible? The trucking company, the AI software provider, or the manufacturer of the sensors? The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, IIHS, has already raised concerns that without clear laws, lawsuits could skyrocket, slowing adoption. Yet industry leaders argue that waiting too long could cost lives, since human drivers are statistically more prone to accidents. And then there's the workforce. The International Transport Forum predicts that by 2030, up to 2 million truck driving jobs in the U.S. could be affected by automation. That's not a small number. It's millions of families. Trucking isn't just a job. In many small towns across America, it's a way of life. Losing these jobs could devastate communities unless new opportunities replace them. But history gives us perspective. When ATMs were introduced in the 1970s, many feared bank tellers would disappear. Instead, banks hired more employees for customer service, loan advising, and new financial products. Experts believe trucking could follow a similar path. While long-haul drivers may decline, new careers will rise like remote fleet operators, AI safety managers, drone-style dispatchers, and EV maintenance engineers. Public trust is another hurdle. A Pew Research Center survey found that 48% of Americans feel uncomfortable with self-driving vehicles, and that number is even higher for massive 40-ton trucks. The image of a driverless machine barreling down the freeway still sparks fear. That's why companies like Aurora and Waymo often keep a human safety driver on board during tests, even when the AI is doing the actual driving. Winning public trust will take years of flawless performance. Still, the economic incentives are too big to ignore. According to Goldman Sachs, autonomous trucking could save the U.S. economy $100 billion annually through reduced labor costs, lower fuel use, and fewer accidents. For consumers, this means cheaper goods and faster deliveries. For businesses, it's a competitive advantage too powerful to resist. Let's fast forward to 2035. Picture the I-10 highway, stretching from California to Florida. Entire lanes are reserved for autonomous convoys. Electric-powered trucks move in perfect harmony, spaced just meters apart, cutting wind resistance and saving energy. Each truck is monitored remotely from a command center in Dallas, where a handful of technicians oversee thousands of vehicles. In cities, hybrid models dominate. Trucks drive themselves on highways, but switch to human operators in busy downtown areas. Logistics hubs, giant warehouses outside cities, serve as handoff points between AI and human labor. It's a balance between efficiency and trust. Now imagine disaster response. In the aftermath of a hurricane in Louisiana, when roads are blocked and drivers can't risk their lives, autonomous trucks deliver water, food, and medicine 24/7. AI doesn't need rest, doesn't panic, and doesn't fear. For emergency response, this technology could be revolutionary. The environmental benefits also reshape America. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, transportation accounts for 28% of U.S. greenhouse gas emissions, the largest contributor. Autonomous electric trucks could slash that number dramatically by optimizing energy use, avoiding traffic jams, and phasing out diesel engines. But challenges remain. Cybersecurity experts warn that if a hacker gains control of an autonomous truck, the consequences could be catastrophic. Imagine thousands of trucks suddenly shutting down or worse, being used as weapons. To counter this, companies are investing billions in AI security, encrypted communication, and government partnerships. So where does this leave us? On the edge of transformation, autonomous trucks are not a question of if only when. Some experts predict limited nationwide adoption by 2030. Others say mass adoption may take until 2040, but the direction is clear. The trucking industry built modern America. It delivered the goods that stocked our shelves, built our cities, and kept our economy running. Now, with AI and robotics, trucking is about to rebuild itself. Some jobs will vanish, new ones will appear, but one thing is certain: the roads of America will never look the same again. As you sit in traffic today, surrounded by trucks, remember, in just a decade, those trucks might not have drivers at all. Instead, they'll be the silent engines of a new economy driven, not by humans, but by intelligence coded into machines. And that's the future NextAutonomy is here to explore.